It is. Hey, Lise, how are you?
I'm good. And how
Yeah,
are you?
I'm doing really well. Thank you so much for joining me today for our casual chat and offering to share your experience with the PD Day workshop that I led for you and your school on February 18th. And that was just 3 weeks ago now, I believe. So I really appreciate this. This is super casual. Whatever comes up, comes up. Maybe we can start by introducing you, and you can tell us a little bit who you are.
Okay. Well, my name is Lise Knapp, and I am the principal at the wonderful Kitchener-Waterloo Bilingual School, where actually my true vision of education has really come to life at this school, where we have a huge focus on language learning, academic excellence, and music and sports. So in a very family environment,
Oh,
so
I love that.
and
Yeah.
community environment as well. Yes, and so I
Yeah.
thank you very much for coming to our school and leading that
Yeah.
wellness PD. The teachers are still talking about it.
Ah,
And there were a lot of lessons that were drawn and taken from that day, and just
okay.
little tidbits of wisdom and that people walked away with. And so that was key.
Yeah. And you specifically said, I don't want this to be like any PD day where people sit and take notes and are bored out of their minds, because we've all experienced those days. And you said you wanted to be engaging, you wanted people to not write any notes, and you wanted them to participate. So how did that correspond to your or surpass your vision of what you were expecting for that
It
day?
really surpassed our vision,
Okay.
or my vision of what it should look like. But you also added the seven pillars of,
Levels of energy. Yeah.
of energy.
Hmm.
And I think that really resonated with people as well. And then
Yeah.
the activities of leading somebody around when they were blind, um, the just and just the cadence and rhythm of the day was really good as well. It did
Hmm.
take some people out of their comfort zone a little bit, but I think it was a good combination of learning, activity, and just being together and
Hmm.
being a little bit more vulnerable.
Yes, yes, that's true. It did
Normally we
involve
are.
some sharing. You're right about that. And walking with someone else leading you when you can't see is an exercise out of trust and putting your life in someone else's hands, quite literally, so you don't bump into tables. For some people, that's very difficult to let go of that kind of control that we have all the time. And
Um,
so, yeah, the teachers really shared that they can rely on other people and other people will be there to support them. And we forget sometimes that we're not in life on our own, that we can reach out to people who will support us. Yeah. And I know you were a participant.
I was.
You
I
sure
was an
did. You did
active
all the
participant.
activities because you're
I
such a
did. I
trooper.
wanted to be part of that with the staff as well. So
Yeah, no, that was
yeah,
awesome. So
yeah.
and then you mentioned the seven energy levels, and they are designed to know for awareness so that people know where they are throughout the day. And teachers go through all the emotions, don't they?
Yes, they certainly
They
do.
certainly, it's such a human job, an emotional job. You have little people that you take care of, parents who might be upset. So there's just a whole bunch of different ranges of emotions. And so knowing those seven levels of energy is helpful to just check in with yourself and go, ooh, okay, I'm in that energy to anger right now. Right. So what do I do about that so that I can shift out of that space so that I can be kind to myself and of course non-reactive to others as well, right? So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
No, absolutely.
Um, so yeah, I'm glad that you enjoyed that. I was like, do I not? I'm like, they're teachers, they can handle it. They can handle
Oh,
anything.
yes, of
Yeah, and
course. Yeah.
so yeah, so that was really fun that they experimented with that. So yeah, the three pillars, which is, awareness, knowing what's going on, the acceptance, so the self-compassion, and accepting that this is where we are right now, releasing the perfectionism, because teachers are all a
Yes,
little bit
they are all
perfectionists.
very
Yeah.
perfectionist, put a lot of pressure on themselves.
Oh gosh, and then lining up with, our goals and feeling aligned with what we do and reminding ourselves that and writing themselves because they're teachers, that they're doing such a great job, that every day they really have that kind of magic, that superpower, and just to remind them of that was important, I think. Yeah.
Well, and I think one of the comments that came off of the exit ticket as well was that I never, somebody said they never realized how important it was that they their children are sponges, and so their energy level that they are giving off, even though they're trying to put on the smile,
Yeah.
or there's whether they're trying to hide the tension, is the children absorb that. And
Hmm.
so they really do felt that it was important to um, be in touch with what their energy level was or how
That's
they were
right.
feeling that day,
Yeah.
and to just kind of say, yeah, you know what, it's okay if I take a day,
Correct.
um,
Yeah.
and to take care of myself, because if I
Hmm.
am not good, then it's going to reflect in the classroom as well.
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's okay. Again, having that compassion around, okay, today's a bad day. And
Yeah.
that's all right. Yeah. And little people, they know everything, don't they? They can
Yes.
tell if
Yes.
adults are upset,
They
and then they
really
try
can.
to make you happy. And so there's energy there as well. But so as we went through our PD day activities, I'm going to call it a PD day retreat for a,
Yep.
because that's kind of what it was, right? Um, which parts did you enjoy the most?
I think it was well, it was actually just a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but I did really like the sharing that went on
Hmm.
at a certain point. So that, because for me as a leader, it was important to kind of get a feel for where my staff is at. And
That's
I
right.
felt it gave them an opportunity to, when they were sharing in their different groups.
Hmm.
Um, and then some people were sharing in front of the larger group afterwards. I
That's
found
true.
that really helpful. But the
Hmm.
way that the questions were asked allowed for that kind of sharing. So
Hmm.
the questions that you asked and some of the activities were important to address that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And it did feel really cozy, didn't it? It just felt kind of like a day off. And
Yeah.
some of the exit tickets for me were best PD day ever. I didn't want it to end. And I was laughing so hard when I read that. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so anyways, and they did enjoy the warm up because it was crazy when we started the day, and I made them do ridiculous things. And your staff is truly a beautiful group of people, and they were happy to engage, and they
Yeah.
were happy to go with my 2 grams of creativity pushed to the limit. And so they just went with me, which is just so lovely, right?
Yeah.
And we did the blind walk, and we explored the 7 levels of energy to recognize where we are throughout the day. We practiced Simon Says. Simon
Yeah.
Says, and they didn't get to complete it. And that was
That was
so.
hard.
And they're like,
There
but
were some of them
no,
that still needed to touch that
that
wall.
one woman had to say, I'm going to touch the wall. And she did, of course. And and so sitting in that zone of I'm not perfect and it's okay,
Yeah.
right? And reminding ourselves that we're human. We're human, the children are human, our colleagues are human. And so that was really, really cool. As a leader of this school, and I'm so happy to hear that you're in your element, that you get to have this beautiful vision. And I've known you for years, so I'm just happy that you're able to flourish in this new space where your vision and your creativity gets to take place and flourish. So that's really exciting for you as well. So congratulations on this new job at the KW Bilingual School. And I walked in the halls, and I've seen some of my former students that are there. And there's just this beautiful energy,
There
and
is.
it
It is.
really is. And the little people, I call them little people because I'm by trade a former high school student, and they are so tiny and precious, but
Yes.
and the little people are happy to be there. And so that was just, for me, I can say that for me, myself, and I had a blast. It was great times for me to be with your staff and with you, and Shelly is of course the vice principal of the school.
Yes. Well,
um
thank you again for sharing all that with us. It
yeah,
really
no
was an
worries.
enjoyable professional development.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Yeah, and part of me is like, I would like to do this maybe for other schools or other companies team building exercises to get people to, because people, even if you're in the same building, sometimes you're like, one person is here, the other person is even
Oh,
just
yeah.
in the
And you
other
don't have
wing.
a chance to
And
connect.
that's what they said on those Etsy tickets. It was like, it was nice to be able to be with everyone. It felt like a family, which was so nice to hear. And yeah, so part of me is like, wow, this could be fun to do because I do retreats for women. That's usually my 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 niche, if you will.
Mhm.
But obviously you have a staff with men as well. So I was like, maybe I could do this for bigger companies or smaller companies that want to just foster that kind of collaboration, friendship, trust, and just have a beautiful sharing moment amongst human beings. So yeah, if you
Yeah,
have any other friends who would like to have those kinds of PD days, you let me know after our chat
I
today.
will.
All
I
right.
will.
And
Absolutely.
and I think that's pretty much it. I mean, unless yeah, the entry tickets were, I'm overwhelmed, it's just difficult. And at the end of the day, people's spirits were really, really
They
uplifted.
were lifted. Yes, very much.
And I think the biggest one for me when they wrote on their exit tickets was that I'm an important person. My health is important. And so that resonated with me because I'm a wellness coach. Obviously, that's what I do. I want people to feel fabulous
Yeah.
because you can
Well,
feel,
that's right. And we
right?
need that.
Yeah.
And I'll
So and recognizing that they are superpower people, that every day that they make a difference. So I was really, really happy to meet your staff. I'm connected with some of them now on
good.
Instagram and stuff. So
Perfect.
that's
That's
some of
great.
them are like, when are we, gonna go do salsa dancing, Eugenie? I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
well, I need to priceless.
Good.
Anyways, yeah, so that's it. I'm gonna just thank you so much for that, and I'll stop the
Yeah,
recording. And thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that.
yeah, you're welcome.